Oscar.
And I am Will.
And this is going to be the very first video heel cast. We thought we may as well just give this a go.
In Oscar's new home as well.
My new home, yeah. We haven't really... this isn't really for anything special, it's just
a little bit of a chat, because I haven't been on heel in a while.
Not in a bit, no. We've been filming something now, so you guys will find out later on.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool project. Can we say much about it? Or?
Keep it on the DL in a minute. The DL. But as you can see, as the time of recording this is May the 4th. Be with you, Star Wars Day.
Yes.
So let's kind of kick this off about the big Star Wars news that came out.
Yes, the announcement of the Star Wars VII cast. I'm not going to rage.
You guys know everything about Will, about his feelings towards this. You know my feelings towards this. If you've listened to the past few heel casts. I gotta say, I think it's 6 and 5. Heel cast 6 and 5 maybe. I'm not sure which one this will be. But yeah, but should we just say, like, I mean, they know our opinions on the new trilogy coming out. What are your opinions on just the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy overall?
Well, let's kick things off with the original trilogy. I think it's certainly one of the most adventurous space films of all time. Because with That's the worst thing with this film. You know, you don't know exactly where to start with this. And with Star Wars, it is a big part of my childhood because you know, it's one of the first things I really nerded out over. So,
definitely.
And what you doing then? I just saw it.
I was sorry, my trousers.
And so it's important to me. I used to be the kid who, if you wanted to know even the little list of details, like the name of like the skeleton in the sand, and the kid with the useless Star Wars trivia. That's the type of kid I was when I was young. And over the years, I think Star Wars has kind of been pushed, trivia especially, has been pushed to the back of my mind in with other films and just other formats as well. And like that with music more now. But Star Wars was the big nerd flag that I was flailing for.
We grew up on the prequel trilogy, ladies and gentlemen, so it's like we don't hate it as much as everyone else does. I mean, I think we can agree that we prefer the original trilogy overall anyway, just
I mean,
films.
To me, if I had a choice, I would say, if someone came to me and said, would you stop the prequel trilogy being made?
I would say no, because that brought me into the Star Wars world.
Well, I was brought with a bit of both, the original and...
I was kind of, it's like, I watched Phantom Menace first, and then I think it was like Attack of Clones. Round about when that was coming out, the Star Wars trilogy was getting reshown on TV, so I kind of watched that round about the same time I was watching, you know, when I was getting hyped up for Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, I mean, I used to own, on VHS, the original trilogy when the first one was just Star Wars.
Yeah. And then The Empire Strikes Back.
And then Return of the Jedi.
Which is how I call them, because that's what they were originally.
Yeah, I mean, it confused me later on when it said A New Hope, and I was like, what's
this one?
What's A New Hope? And obviously, it was to coincide with the release of...
Because they're doing episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Yeah, I mean...
We need to give the first one a name.
I mean, like, I love... As a lot of people don't, but I love The Phantom Menace because, even as a child... I mean, I remember, I think... James was talking about how it wasn't his particular favourite because of all, like, the politics of it.
It got... Because I watched it... Have you watched it recently?
I watched it not so long ago, yeah.
Right. Okay, because I was going to say, last time I watched it when it got re-released in 3D, because I took Gary to see it and he'd never seen a Star Wars film since. Like, he's never seen... I think he saw, like, brief, but he's never sat through and watched it.
Never.
So I thought, you know what? If they're going to be doing this as an annual thing, which they're not now, but if they're going to be doing this, I may as well just take you to see Phantom Menace. Just keep doing it, why not?
Yeah, you know, the original trilogy and like...
And then again, when they did that, Fox still had the whole rights for that jazz, and now it's Disney.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I took him to see it and I watched it, I was like, this is not... It's not a good film. It's not... I was watching things, I was like, okay, I remember that from my childhood. But I was like watching, I was like, this is just not a well-made film. This is terribly edited. This is not... For me, it was just boring. It was like, I was like nodding off. I was like, okay, right, fight scene. Okay, So those are some of the best parts of the prequel trilogy. Because I mean, I don't class the prequel trilogy as a bad, trilogy.
Yeah, it's just
not a good trilogy. It's like, because I mean, the music's good. John Williams is all.
Yeah, when I watched the original,
the fight scenes were good and everything. I mean, it's like, because I mean, back in the day, it's like they were. I watched Empire last night in anticipation for May the 4th, and I watched it. I was like, this is essentially a kung fu film, because I watched Drunken Master and Hero and stuff like that before this, so I was kind of more in a kung fu mindset. I watched it, I was like, this is a kung fu movie. I mean, you got the wise man telling the young apprentice about fighting, and essentially the lightsabers is katanas.
Yeah, katanas.
But it's like the prequel trilogy made it more like Crouch Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's like, look, we can do all this now. That we can, we can do all this that we didn't have the technology to do this before on the hand, and those are cool parts of the prequels. Revenge of the Sith is a good film. Revenge of the Sith is not a bad film.
See, to me, like I love the Phantom Menace. I don't know why. It's just something I feel like I need to defend sometimes. Like
we all have that film that we need to defend.
Yeah,
I always need to defend Signs sometimes.
Like it's a nostalgic film. I don't particularly think that it's a bad film. At certain times, I think it could have been either cut down, but then it's kind of a space opera. So I think, well, we do sometimes. It reminds me a bit of like like Shakespeare. You get the parts in between where they're just talking about, the politics or what's going on at the time. I feel like some parts of it are like that. To me, I remember the most disappointing one for me, and I don't remember why particularly now, I might have to watch it again, was Attack of the Clones.
I just loved the entire thing when I was younger. I was like, this is the best thing ever.
Like, oh my god. But then you look back and you just think, wow.
I like Attack of the Clones because is it a well-made film? No. Is it entertaining? Yeah. For me, Phantom Menace is not really well-made and it's not entertaining. It's like... It's like, if I had it...
Yeah, I mean...
It's like... Phantom Menace, it's like, for me, I don't find the whole politics interesting in it. I might have done if they presented it in a more of a interesting way, rather than just these
massive meetings.
And it's just like, oh, where's the fun of adventurous of Star Wars, and Yoda, why are you so boring?
Who cares? The Palpatine has to pay his taxes,
Lighten up, Yoda. Hit R2-D2 with a stick and shot mine again. Just...
But obviously, I can't pick faults with the original trilogy.
Alright, no.
Well, I say the original trilogy. I can pick fault with it now. The fact that it's Hayden Christensen instead of the old.
Well, that's just for the.
But that's the only fault I picked, because I think that should have been kept. I thought that was a bit of like a tie-in gimmick. Really.
Yeah, I came up with an interesting theory that Hayden Christensen was a good Anakin. It wasn't him that was the problem. It was George Lucas's writing and directing.
Like, to me, I feel like they made Anakin's character a bit too whiny. Like I know he's a teenager, but I mean, it's like, I want to be the chosen one. It's like, well,
Hayden Christensen did the best job that he could, I think, with what he was given. I mean, it's like James said in a heel cast before. He said Jesus Christ could have came down and could not have made that any better. Like, I think it was like the first heel cast we talked about Star Wars 7. It was like with all three of us. And James just said, Jesus Christ could come down and no one could have made that dialogue better. It's like, it's because I love you so much. No, it's because I love you so much. It's like, really, George, you actually thought that would have been... It's like, I love you. No, I love you.
In italics, you can't read it. You can't perform an italic speech.
It's like, no one could have... The prequels... We don't hate them as much as everyone else does because we were the generation growing up on that trilogy. But we do agree that the original trilogy was the best one.
I'm with the generation now. See, I don't know if I haven't heard people hating on this new trilogy that's coming out
because there's nothing to hate at the minute.
Like, well, apart from the concept, people are like, oh, do we need it?
We'll get into that when we talk about the cast. Yeah.
My original beef with it.
Bullseye.
Oh,
Bullseye.
Bullseye hates it as well. He's just killed himself. The fact there's a new one. No, but my original like problem was that we had the main story, the start and the finish, and then we thought, let me just, and then I thought, oh, okay, and we've got this prequel, but that's all we can really get out of it because the story's done, the galaxy's saved, that's it. And then to hear that there's more, I'm like, well, that kind of takes away the cutting edge finale of the end of Return of the Jedi. Because I thought, well, when everyone was like, that was such a great ending to a series, now we can't say that anymore because it's not the end to the series, there's another one. To me, that was kind of like the all lived happily ever after, yay, and Slade, the Night of 1,000 Ewoks Slade, which was probably the best part of the film, but that was my problem with it, because I thought, no, that's not the end. And it was a good ending.
Can I just say something before we go any further? Watching Empire last night, Lando is... I didn't realise how awesome of a character Lando is.
Lando's amazing.
Lando
Calrissian is just amazing.
I mean, it's like you're watching and it's like, he was actually really... It's like he's not just a throwaway guy. It's like, okay, he was actually really, really good. And I was actually watching Empire as well last night with the mindset of like, right, imagine going into it not knowing a thing. Because this has been a while since I've seen... I mean, I haven't seen Empire since I was a little child.
Like, imagine
and I watched it for the first time.
Empire for the first time.
It's been about, 10 years since I've seen Empire. Since last night. And I watched it, I was like, I like it. I was saying to myself, imagine people going to it not knowing who Yoda is. And then when Luke's like, yeah, I'm finding this Yoda. And then Yoda's actually like, and it's like, yeah. It's like, guess what? It's me!
But imagine, the biggest point, is the whole Luke, I'm your father. That was, I can imagine in the theatre, I was just like, oh, no way!
And then it ended. Yeah. I was like, Mom!
It was like, no way. Oh, man.
There hasn't been a bigger cliff. The closest thing to a cliffhanger like that I can say is Desolation of Smaug. That had a hell of a cliffhanger.
Oh, well, I haven't seen that yet, so...
But I'm not saying what exactly...
I'm just waiting for, one DVD.
Yeah,
full length.
Let's get back to... Let's talk about the cast, the whole reason behind this. Let's see if I can do this
You told me this on the way this morning, so... And to be honest, let me just clarify my feelings on Star Wars 7 now. Now it's...
Again, this is the third time you've done this. No, fourth time, no, third.
Well,
depending on which...
I have to have my feelings on it. Yeah, I have to have my say. It's tradition. At the moment now, I'm not in anticipation or hate of it, because
you will see it though.
I probably will see it.
You will see it, and we will do a review on it.
Yeah.
Because I think all this build-up that's been happening...
We need to, yeah.
It's like, we can't just say, oh yeah, me and James are doing a review of Star Wars 7, William's not here. It's like, wait, but you did this!
Even if I'm not able on that day, we just save it till the day I can be, and then... Oh, God, yeah.
Right, here's the cast.
Yeah,
I'm going to read it from the order of IMDb has done it, bottom to top. Yeah. Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Kenny Baker, Anthony Daniels, Peter Mayhew, Max von Sydow, Oscar Isaac, Adam Driver, Domhnall Gleeson, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and Andy Serkis.
That seems a good cast.
Do you know what I like about it? Do you know what I like about it? There's a few well-knowns, but there's not many well-knowns.
I was going to say, most of them I was thumbs up, but I wouldn't.
It's like the original. It's the original. It's like the... Alec Guinness was the only big name at that point. Mm. Mark Hamill.
And
Carrie Fisher.
Peter Cushing as well.
Oh yeah, he was... Yeah. Anyway,
so, Andy Serkis, wow. I mean, that's exciting.
Daisy Ridley. I looked up. She is actually honestly the biggest nobody in this thing. The biggest thing she's been in is Casualty, which is a British TV soap drama.
Yeah, it was a drama. Yeah.
That's the biggest thing she's been in. She hasn't
been in much anymore, is it?
I don't think so actually. I want her agent. Honestly, it's like people are like, oh, like John Boyega. It's like, no, if I'm in Casualty, then boom, and I'm in Star Wars. It's like, I have the best agent I ever think of. It's like, but John Boyega.
I feel like I've heard the name.
He was the lead in Attack the Block.
Right.
You know the...
Yeah, I know.
He was fantastic. I need to show you Attack the Block, actually. Because James is like, oh, it's stupid, don't like it, stupid. It's a good film. It's a good one. It's like, because they're chavs.
Sorry, James.
They're chavs.
Wow.
But it's like you're following chavs, and James is just like, I just can't sympathise with him. It's like, but it's satirical. It's a satirical portrayal of chavs. We're using British slang here. Chavs. They're punks.
No, it's a delinquent.
Yeah.
A delinquent that usually wears plaid caps and tracksuits.
Yeah, but John Boyega is in it. Kenny Baker reprising his role of R2D.
Yeah.
Anthony Daniels.
C-3PO.
Peter Mayhew. Yeah. Max von Sydow is another pretty big name, though. Do you know of this guy?
No, the name doesn't ring a bell.
He was in The Exorcist.
Oh, right.
I'll bring up his filmography. He was in The Exorcist. He was in Shutter Island. He was in Minority Report.
I've heard of that.
He was actually.
Minority Report's based on a Philip K. Dick.
Yes, it's a Spielberg film.
Yeah, that's why I've probably heard of it.
He was also a voice in Skyrim.
Oh, well,
that's
crashed on me, so.
It's like Wolfman. He was in the remake of Wolfman.
All right.
But he's a very
prominent.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. He would put if they made a live action Hunchback of Notre Dame, I would say he would play Frollo. Like he's that type of posture and stature. People are saying that he would be. Let's talk about go back to John Boyega for a bit. People are saying that he might be the lead Jedi. I'll show you a picture, like a proper one. Like people saying that he would be a good Jedi.
Yeah.
And in Attack the Block, he was a very good leader presence. So it's like I would not complain if he was a Jedi or a Sith.
Well, I like to say that.
But a lot of people are saying he might be Lando's descent.
Why is the guy's black?
Yeah, actually yes, that's the only reason why people are saying that.
Oh, damn the internet.
It's like that is literally just saying, well, he could be Lando's. So I was like, no, he's black. He's Mace Windu's child then, if you're going to go with that. Wait, is Mace Windu?
Mace Windu.
Mace Windu, the father of Lando, and Lando says, no, that's stupid.
That's racist.
That's stupid. Yeah, wait, the only few black people in this series, they must be related.
This is how ignorant culture is sometimes.
But Max von Sydow, everyone's saying that he might be the emperor of this new trilogy, maybe.
This sounds like it could be like an adaptation, like Knights of the Old Republic.
But in the future.
Yeah, just Knights of the New.
Just like.
Well.
Oscar Isaac. He is. I would say he's a relatively big name at this point. He was just in the film Inside Llewyn Davis. The new Coen Brothers film. It's got JT in it.
Sorry.
But he was also in Drive as well.
Oh.
He was not Ryan Gosling. No, but I would say he is just as big now as Natalie Portman was when she got cast in the prequels. I would say around about that type of stuff.
Like mid-film. Excuse me.
Adam Driver, who I hope because I might be putting the podcast up where we did talk about him before this, so we can have our opinion before. So we just at one point basically said during the podcast like we don't know who he is. Fine, okay, apparently he's a really good actor, so I'm fine with that. And people are saying that he might be the Vader of this thing. I mean, it's like
to me the only problem is there.
People are saying the Vader. I think they just mean the name bad guy, not like he's gonna he'd be fine as a bad guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say when people like almost assign these roles, these type of.
But
roles.
it was rumored that he would be like, but like, it was also the fact how it's like they're saying Max von Sydow could be the bad guy, but he looks. That might be too easy to do. You know what I mean? It's like that might be too easy to say. Yes, he is the bad guy because he looks evil. It's saying okay. Domhnall Gleeson, who is one of the Weasley twins, is in it, and he's not really well known as such. But no one knows. Oh yeah, I know him. He's from Harry Potter. It's like
it's that type of reaction.
Yeah, and people are saying he might be playing Luke's child because he's the ginger one or something. I don't know. It's like, that's it. It's like, they're signing things to race and how people look. That's all they're doing at the minute. But it's like, he could be a cool apprentice. Like, he has that type of just presence to him. I think, yeah, it could be a...
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher, fine, yeah. Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
That's the main one that I'm like, about.
I know, because I'm wondering who Andy Serkis... Like,
but it's like, will he play a motion capture guy, or will he be himself?
Yeah.
Because he has done that in other films. He was with The Cottage, Burke and Hare.
That's the one I was going to say.
He was Wild Bill. He was in a recent British film. So he had The Prestige. He was in He was in that. He's a really good actor, and he can do both things really well. And people said it would be. Of course, he's going to play a creature. I'm like, well, of course, I'm fine with that. But what it's like because you've said before, because we were like, we don't know if Han and all them, the original crew is coming back, because that was your main complaint about. I don't want to see all of these guys doing everything. And now it's happened, and it's been announced that it's going to take place 30 years after Return of the Jedi. So it's kind of announced like, okay, look, your fears have come true. But with the amount of main cast being shown, do you still have that worry about that's going to be focused on Mark Hamill?
No, because I feel like they'll be kind of background characters now, which I am glad about.
Which I've been trying to hammer into your heads, like, this could work if they just put them in... I think
things are starting to... In my view, things are starting to become more optimistic and pick up for it. Right?
I think out of the main...
Don't jinx it.
I think out of the main three, Han, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill will be the one being shown the most, I think. Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher may be there.
I'm surprised that Mark Hamill and them signed to do it again.
But really, Mark Hamill quit doing the Joker, so what else has he got to do, really? Yeah. Carrie Fisher, what has she done recently? She did Drop Dead Fred, and that's all I can think of after Star Wars.
That was ages ago.
That was ages ago. And Harrison Ford, Harrison Ford, it's like...
He didn't get a Jones.
It's like, he is still a pretty big name, but yeah, I don't know. It's like he might... It's cool to see him back. It's cool to see him back. J.J. Abrams, I'm a fan of his directing. And I truly think, if you have seen the 2 new Star Trek films, you will have more faith in this film.
Okay, that's what I need to do.
Because he grew up as more of a Star Wars fan than a Star Trek fan. Star Trek feels like a Star Wars film, like that vibe, and it feels like if you just take Kirk and put Luke in there, or like whoever, like those would be extremely good Star Wars films.
Oh,
it's like
it's
like you've not seen those 2 yet, so it's like I'll say you need to give those a go, and then you would have
instead of screaming. I know, it's the fans. They're revolting already, and the film hasn't been released.
But yeah, I still have faith in this film. I'm pumped for it. So
I'm not pumped for it, but I'm more optimistic about it now, if that makes any context.
Do you think once we get a synopsis, you might get it? Because we've got the cast.
Yeah, once we get a synopsis.
As soon as we find out who's actually the lead, and as soon as we find out who's playing who, and the synopsis.
Yeah.
Did you hear what they're also doing? Everyone has said, oh yeah, all the expanded media out, like past Return of the Jedi. Hey guys, right. Yeah, what they do with the expanded universe is that everything that happened after Return of the Jedi, they're saying is not canon. So I like that, because now JJ doesn't JJ and Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Empire Strikes Back, who's also ran this film with JJ Abrams. They don't have to be awkward and try and weave in and out oh, can we really do that because Chewbacca died at this point? Oh, can we really do that because that's like they can now be free with their creativity and say, no, this happened in the universe now. This happened in the universe. It's like, what are your opinions on that? Like how they just said they're there, but they're not canon.
Like they're not really
They're not important in the world.
Well, I don't know. It's weird, really, because it's one of those moments, really, where you get told something like this, and I know this sounds stupid. In times when you tell me this, I always wonder what George Lucas thinks of it. I know it's not really his concern. Like when people say like, "Oh, it's not his concern," I'm like, it's still his.
It's his
It's his creation.
It's his creation. Yeah, it's his baby. That he sent off to university in the dorm room with JJ.
What do I feel about that? You just told me. I think it's a creative idea.
And people are still complaining like, yeah, but all the things that we enjoy, they don't matter anymore. But they're there.
Yeah.
A lot of the Batman stuff doesn't matter.
I can understand people like, oh, well, that didn't matter, and it's like, well, as corny as this is gonna sound, if it mattered to you, then that's all that matters. Because. You know, it's one of those moments where maybe that you thought something in the universe when Star Wars was first being released was not going to be an important, like the whole hand shot first. Look how important that has become.
Yeah.
So I think that when it's saying it's canon and all the other stuff's not, they're not saying it's not important, but I think they're just trying to say, look, just put that to one side when you're watching this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all it's trying to say.
Because it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like it again. We're going to see an original story.
Yeah.
Excuse me, we're going to see an original story. And, yeah, that's exciting. We're going to see something different. We're going to see new characters, probably. We're going to see all sorts of things. Yeah, awesome. Should we go on from talking about it? So we've just been...
This is just Star Wars. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah, but it's like still, I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy the way...
I'm optimistic now, so...
I'm in the way... I'm happy the direction that they're taking.
Yeah. And I think we've got... Certainly the heel members have got the thing they wanted out of me the most. I mean, not to hate so much on this.
William, give it a chance!
See, to me, you know, I will still forever say I don't think it was needed, but I might say
a lot of people might have thought that Batman Begins wasn't needed.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
because a lot of people might be like, but the first two are really good, and that's the best we're gonna get.
Yeah,
this might be the Batman Begins of the Star Wars universe.
It could be.
We might still have the Dark Knight of the Star Wars universe.
You never know.
There's an opportunity.
But yeah, so I'm getting feelings now that I've probably taken everything back. If I do, I will get down on my knees and say I am sorry.
That'll be in the review. That'll be in the review if that's true.
I will say sorry.
I will.
Well, you know, I'm not sorry for my opinion, but I'm sorry for hating on it so much.
Yeah. It's coming to that point of DVD season. That films are coming out. That we might not get
big summer.
If not, I'm on about like DVDs that came around about Oscar time. You know, really good films that people might have wanted to see. Didn't get to see it because of Christmas time or something like that, or work or something like that. It's coming out now. You know, it's around about summertime. Is there any film you particularly want to be seeing that you missed out last fall?
Oh goodness. Well,
so I can just because I probably did see it.
I am not sure. Probably will be, well, The Wolf of Wall Street will be one I really terribly want to see.
Yeah.
It seems to have that...
You love it.
The chaos and, like, seems to have that Hunter S. Thompson vibe about it to me.
Okay.
So I'm drawn to that. I'm drawn, like, the craziness of it.
You love it. You would probably love it.
So there's that I want to see. See, there was a lot of films.
12 Years a Slave, did you say you want to see that?
I did want to see that, but I really want to be in the right mood for that.
Okay, yeah.
I think there's a lot of people as well. It's a fantastic film, but I want to be in the mood for that.
It's impactful, isn't it?
Yes, I've seen and heard that's very... Oh, what else is there? See, this is the worst thing about...
Nebraska, you might like though.
Might?
I'll say because it's...
Right.
Yeah, you would like Nebraska. No, I thought about it. Yeah, you would like it.
Well, that's because it's something I don't particularly pay attention to, but I don't know. Obviously, I'm not as big as a film buff, so it's not.
Yeah, so Wolf of Wall Street's the main one.
Yeah, that really is the main one because it's just so.
What were your opinions? Did you know about the Oscar results?
I think I might have watched the video that you put up.
Okay, do you know about the...
But I can't remember.
Yeah, do you have a certain opinion on them at this
I still think... I think the Academy should give Leonardo DiCaprio something.
Yeah.
They should give him an Oscar because, I mean...
He's still young, though. He still has his...
You know, and he's shown maturity in saying, like, he's appreciative that people... But he does it for the fun of it, which to me I think is a sign of the true actor, so...
But he will celebrate like all hell when he gets that, I think. He will.
There will be I think the Wolf of Wall Street party will come to life. Like DiCaprio,
like
like I reckon they'll have to get mesh.
I was going to say it's a mesh.
You know.
That's his speech. That's his speech.
Yeah, I think that should. I think literally that will be the one day that I think we'll achieve world peace. The day
he is an environmentalist as well, so
I think that will be the one day. Hell, that might be a biblical event.
Yeah, like
yeah. I mean,
I forgot. What's the thing called where the ice caps are melting?
Oh, global warming.
Global warming. That'll stop. What's that thing that's melting all the polar bears and?
Every single deity that everyone believes in will just be like, we're giving ourselves to you to kind of thing. What else? It's not. See, that's not Oscar time. I don't know. I don't think DiCaprio should win.
Yeah, is that your main thing that you had?
Yeah, and it's not a case of like, oh, because everyone's.
Because Matthew McConaughey, it's not also the fact that Matthew McConaughey sucks. It's like because he was good in the film.
Yeah, it was good.
You might like Dark Spice Club as well because it's really what the Freddie Mercury should have in tone. And Jared Leto, he was great.
Yeah, I've heard that Jared Leto was quite good.
I still think Michael Fassbender was a better actor in 12 Years. He did a better job in 12 Years a Slave than Jared Leto did in Dark Spice Club. But yeah.
I know it's not an Oscar film. But
it's conversation. I
feel
the first part of this was literally just get that out of the way, then we.
I feel that I'm very precautious about. I say Johnny Depp's career, but obviously the last film he was in, not Transcendence, the one before.
Lone Ranger?
Yeah. And
flopped.
Majorly. And I had high expectations for that.
Not just critically, box office as well.
And
this is a Disney, Gore Verbinski, Johnny Depp film.
And a flop.
This was an adventure type of film. This and John Carter.
Carter was.
I understand John Carter because what star did you have in there really? But Lone Ranger.
I mean,
Johnny Depp.
I was anticipating that because me and my dad like the original Lone Ranger series. We liked the original, Lone Ranger and Tonto. And I'd seen the trailer for this and I thought, oh, it looks amazing. The CGI they've done, and.
Apparently, if you're a fan of that, stay away from this film. Apparently.
Yeah,
apparently that's what
to me, I think they did a good job of Tonto not being made the sidekick, but apparently
he's the main character.
They made him. I think they made him too over.
Because it's Johnny Depp.
Yeah, so...
There's one poster where it's like Armie Hammer's got like this part cut off him and Johnny Depp's like full in the middle. It's like, it's called The Lone Ranger and the Lone Ranger part
and he's kind of...
If you're going to call it The Adventures of the Lone Ranger and Tonto or something like that. Or put Tonto in the title if you're going to blow him up like that.
Tonto, a Lone Ranger's Tale or something. But... With Transcendence as well, I thought, because I didn't see the last one, and already before the film was released, there was like a bit of mixed...
A lot of people hate Transcendence because a lot of people are going into it really, really high expectations. Because it's like the cinematographer for Nolan films. It's like, oh my god! It's like I didn't have much faith in it to go in with, but I didn't hate it like everyone else did. Maybe because I didn't go in thinking this is gonna be amazing. I was like, this doesn't look good.
I feel like Johnny Depp's career. See, everybody. Which quite rightly they've said, oh, he's flopped, but everyone's saying, well, that does not make him a bad actor. He's just choosing the wrong type of roles. Which I don't feel like.
I like the fact
he's trying to be diverse, but
I like the because he chose to not do a big goofy wacky thing in Transcendence, which I respect. But he was dull. It's like he went from one extreme to the other, and it was like, my.
I mean, I think like the middle ground is like Secret Window type. Where
Ed Wood.
Yeah, that's amazing. Ed Wood and Secret Window, I think two of my favourite. Ed Wood's probably my favourite Johnny Depp film, and probably might change that in 5 seconds. But
I think you would.
It's between that. I think Secret Window. I can't help it. But
by the way, Johnny Depp and David Koepp, the guy who did Secret Window, they're doing a new film called Mordecai. So they're doing a new film together coming out. It's either this year or next year. So.
I mean,
you might.
I'd probably be interested in that.
If he's.
I respect him as an actor enough to to go through these roles and still hold his head high and say, well, I'm just.
But to be fair, at the end of the day, he's making the money, no matter how hard this film flops.
One of the highest paid actors.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
A lot of people have been begging for a movie with Johnny Depp and Robert Downey Jr., but that's only for one thing, I think we know, so... it's just you got two hot guys in the same film.
Are they classed as hot guys now?
Yeah.
Are they?
There's a meme that it has a picture of them.
Really?
There's a picture of them two and it says, admit it, they're as old as your dad and they get more women than you. I was like, to me, they are like the old brooding hunks of Hollywood now. That's not my opinion, but
we're gonna sound like real homosexuals. Nothing wrong with that.
Be free
But we are not homosexual men. But we're gonna sound like
heelpictures. Be free with HP.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, there you go. But are they? Johnny Depp was classed as like the hunk 10 years ago or something like that.
Even after that, he's still like revealed as one of the sexiest men in Hollywood, and so is Robert Downey Jr.
I thought it was more like Fassbender and Gosling now. I thought those two were more
they are. They're like, oh my god, they're the newcomers. But then you've always got those two on the sidelines. They're like, we started this, so yeah.
We're like the old.
Then the pinstripes. They're like, well, we started.
You got like Brando up there as well, like Brando and Clark Gable, just like yeah.
And you got James Dean like, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe you've just really done that. My God.
Do you want to hear something?
That's not fair.
Do you want to hear something?
No.
I was watching the Totally Rad show, like rewatching some of the episodes, right? Yeah. Because I like going back, and this is round about when Rock Band was coming out, and they were talking about like Rock Band, there's going to be like a Beatles, maybe like different ones, and this one guy said like about a very insulting joke that a very like offensive joke that his friend told him. He said like they should do a Nirvana Rock Band thing. And the Kurt Cobain microphone is a shotgun. Like
oh, well that would sell. It would. No, because you'd get Courtney Love saying too much crap about it. They know what Kurt wanted.
Does she care anymore?
Oh yes, she does. They're making a Kurt Cobain musical, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that a good job. I
am a Nirvana fan, so this isn't me being horrible towards Nirvana fans because I like them myself.
Didn't he OD before he could blow his brains out?
Apparently, there's loads of different theories. There's a theory that Courtney Love killed Kurt Cobain, but I don't want to go into all the theories.
It's like the Benoit thing.
He killed himself. Let's just admit that. Who cares?
Let's just accept he's dead.
He died.
Just accept it.
I'm not going to go around.
No one can smell Teen Spirit anymore. It's gone.
That's a woman's cologne as well.
Is it?
Yes, that's where they got the idea from. Someone sprayed paint on a wall, Kurt Cobain smells like Teen Spirit, and it's a women's. It's an aftershave.
Women's?
Yeah, it's a women's one, yeah.
That was the thing, it could have been a dude's.
How's that not being used? Smells like Old Spice, I would have liked, but I'd love that one.
Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain smells like Gillette. It's like Terry Crews. But yeah, so, I mean, what
were we talking about?
You were talking about James Dean crashing his car.
Oh yeah, that was it, like, the hunks of today's generation.
But yeah, I mean, Ryan Gosling, it's not just the fact that he's a hunk, he's the guy that women would just curl up on a couch with. Hell, the guy's, one of the guy's favourite things to do is knitting, Is it? Knitting, he loves knitting.
He's a real mama's boy as well, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's not the sense of like, Ponzi, it's a case of like, he has this respect. That's the way, because he has this love from women, but he has the respect from men as well, which makes him this icon. And you got Fassbender, who did Shame, and now everyone just appreciates him. Whose penis did a cameo role in the Chamber of Secrets as the Basilisk. So, you got that as well. It's like with Fassbender, he did Shame, and instantly every dude was like, I respect him for that. He brought shame on every dude for that. And then every woman was just like, I would die for my boyfriend's not
Michael Fassbender, why am I in love with? Is that why you're trying to hide shame from your girlfriend? Just be...
My girlfriend's watched shit. We're not to get no, but like it's it's one of those moments. Like I'd seen the moment. Don't sit like that now and try and enhance yourself.
I'm trying to get comfortable.
But like, no, like in a serious matter though. I mean, you know, disregard if you can disregard with me. Let's give that.
He is a fantastic actor.
Yeah, you described him as the Marlon Brando
of today's generation. Yes, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good. I kind of feel like Gosling's the James Dean because of like the rebellious role.
It's just so we didn't go.
No, you know. No.
He's already passed James Dean's records of doing 3 films, and he's continued. No, he has. He's done more than 3 films, and plus he's.
I think was it James Dean who was the first actor to win a posthumous award?
Maybe.
I think so. You don't care enough. But
I don't know. I haven't watched a James Dean film.
You never watched a James Dean film?
I want to watch Giant and Rebel.
Giant is amazing. Giant's an amazing film. It's on a long time, but it's amazing.
Do you know what else is on for a long time?
Malcolm Fassbender's Pictures.
No, I actually was not going to say it. No, I can't say it.
Right, well, there's me.
I was going to say Godfather 2, and I enjoy watching that, so there you go.
Well, let's talk about... you can't see this, but there is like a Last Supper representation.
There's Lauren Hardy, Elvis Presley, Clark Gable, a young John Wayne,
Elvis Presley,
God himself, Marilyn Monroe,
Charlie
Chaplin, Marilyn Monroe, James Dean. I'm not going to make a joke. Not Henry Fonda. What's his name? Thingy. Humphrey Bogart. Gregory.
I like him.
Who's the Thingy?
The Thingy? Well, he's like the Thing's cousin.
Next to.
I don't.
They don't know what.
Then there's Gregory Peck.
Yes.
And then there's yes, it is.
Is it Cary Grant?
No, it's Gregory Peck.
All right.
Gregory Peck, Groucho Marx,
and then Marlon Brando.
To me, see, this is a question that has often been. I've seen speculated on Tumblr and like Reddit.
Right.
A lot of people, a lot of girls especially, they use Marilyn Monroe, nearly said Manson.
They use him too.
They use Marilyn Monroe as an idol, and people say that she was nothing but an overrated slut. That's not my opinion, but
She's been in one iconic film, Some Like It Hot. That's the only film that I can recall. Like,
do you think that Marilyn Monroe should be as highly regarded as an actress as many people? Because to me,
no, she was an attractive woman for that age, and now she's been here, and she was an actress at the time, and she so-called had an affair with JFK, and that
both the Kennedy brothers.
Really?
Apparently,
I thought it was John.
I thought I'd heard it was both, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's like She had the guts to be curvy at the time when people were like, skinny is the attractiveness, and that's it. It's like, and she seemed to pull it off, but that's it. And no, it's like, I reckon Audrey Hepburn had more of a career.
Oh, Audrey Hepburn. Audrey Hepburn.
Audrey, yes.
Audrey, that's no, but like Marilyn Monroe and Audrey Hepburn. But yeah, like because a lot of people.
I want to see that. I want to see that epic rap hours of history.
There's already Marilyn Monroe.
Yo, Marilyn, you don't take a bath!
Like, there was like, obviously because a lot of people are like, oh, she's amazing. I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, she was attractive, but I feel like that's all she had going for her.
Do you think Kate Upton will end up being like her when she eventually goes off?
I mean...
It's like, people are good. I can imagine just like,
what's funny about that picture...
I'll put a link down below so you know what he's on about.
The funny thing about
if
the
I can
picture,
find it,
is that she's the only woman there, and she's in the middle in like the Christ, and I'm like, are you hailing her better than the others then?
She's not better. She's the more iconic one. I mean, it's like, yeah, Chaplin's iconic as well. But it's like, honestly, if you showed that picture to a mainstream audience. Then, who do you think they would pick up first?
Well, it's
they would either go Marilyn Monroe, Elvis, Lauren Hardy, and then that's it. Maybe Chaplin.
Do you think that's quite a bit close, putting Elvis among actors? How do you feel?
It's the same thing of putting Marilyn Monroe in that category, though. It's like
because obviously,
but then again, Marilyn Monroe was an actor for a profession, but
and Elvis,
he did Jailhouse
like,
Rock and some other thing. I can't
Blue
remember.
Hawaii.
Yeah,
you know, they just made him sing his dialogue.
He was an iconic part of Hollywood. I think that's what they did.
Yeah,
there.
I mean Marlon. I forget what film that is in. That one that Marlon Brando does.
On the Waterfront, I think it was.
Yeah.
Now, I could have been a contender.
What?
I need to see that film.
Is it the one where they said, "What are you going against?" He's like, "What have we got?" And
I don't know.
Oh yeah, you know.
I know that was an Academy Award winner. And Watch Mojo. Do you know the?
I watched Mojo. The
guys who do they named On the Waterfront as the best film of the 50s because they did a series of best film of the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and then top 10 best films of all time. They said that On the Waterfront was the best film of the 50s. Would you agree? Again, you probably don't know too much of the
I mean, I like the 50s, but I haven't seen that too many films from the 50s.
I'm biased now. I'm saying no, 12 Angry Men. That's the best. Then again, I've yet to see On the Waterfront, so it's like one of those things.
Sometimes I forget which is from the 50s and from the 60s. I like Cape Fear, and I can't remember.
I don't know that.
That's Gregory Peck and Robert Mitchum, who I think is another brilliant, like one of the most.
Robert Mitchum, Night the Hunter.
Yes, one of the most iconic bad guy actors.
Longest Day as well.
I think he's a brilliant bad guy actor.
I need to see Night the Hunter still.
It's good. Thanks
Amazon for delivering my Criterion broke, by the way. Stupid people.
There's only one Criterion I would like to have, and that's the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
I knew you would say that, but yeah.
What can I say? I'm not a Thompson fan.
Do you know what got a release on Criterion not too long ago? Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Really?
I need to get that. I'm a huge that's my favourite Wes Anderson film.
Is it really?
That's because I mean I love stop motion as an art form as it is. I mean it's Wes Anderson, stop motion, a cool little tale by Roald Dahl, who's one of my favourite authors growing up.
Like your favourite childhood author?
Yeah, it's like I would say he was definitely my favourite childhood, over J.K. Rowling at that point as well for me.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to delve into book territory now.
Well,
I mean,
I'm not going to have much discussion about
that's more a solo discussion for me, but yeah, I mean, Roald Dahl books have made some pretty good films. I think
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The only thing that I had a problem with that was the ending of that.
The Witches.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Because in the book, I forgot what the character's name is. I'm just gonna call him the boy. Okay.
Yeah. I can't remember
he
much about it.
He stays a mouse in
the
book,
he does.
And then he gets turned back in the film. So.
But it's like
people had a problem with that. But
James and Giant Peach, he did that.
Yeah, that was stop motion, wasn't it?
Half stop motion, half live action.
Okay.
It was mainly advertised as a stop motion film.
Yeah. Trying to think.
It did so much. BFG.
But
yes, BFG.
One of the most scariest cartoon animated films
It was so good.
I reckon this is why everybody who's seen that film either has weird thoughts about hallucinogenics because you didn't need it with that film. This is why we're so anti-drugs because we're just like we have the BFG. You have David Jason singing a song about farting.
Do you think that David Jason is more widely known as Del Boy or more widely known as the BFG for more of a mass audience?
No, definitely Del Boy. You got people who know
even in America, would you say?
I'd say people know David Jason for Open All Hours, Only Fools and Horses, A Touch of Frost.
Yeah.
I said that flat. Frost.
And the BFG.
It's just
I didn't even know he was in the BFG
until I didn't know until growing up, and then I started putting names to faces of actors because a name of an actor when I was young didn't really mean much to me.
Nah.
A character though, then yeah. You know,
that's Captain Jack.
Yeah. So,
I still think that's Johnny Depp's best acting role.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not his best film, but it's best acting role. I think
it's funny as well how he was inspired by Keith Richards for that as well, the guitarist of the Rolling Stones.
Oh yeah, that's right. He played his dad.
Yeah, which I thought was a really kind of cool moment. That was
brilliant. I didn't even realise
who
it was until
we were watching Giant, and there's a scene where James Dean is drunk at the end of Giant, and it just resonates that Captain Jack persona so much that we thought.
Which film was when James Dean was like, "You're tearing me apart"?
That's Rebel Without a Cause.
Right, I thought it was, yeah.
It's not hard to think of his filmography.
I've seen 3 films. East of Eden, wasn't it?
East of Eden was his first one.
That's
it was
it,
Rebel,
yeah.
and then
Giant.
Giant, yeah.
Didn't he die before Giant came out?
He died about a week before the promotion. I think Giant's his best one. Anyway, Rebel Without a Cause
is his most iconic.
His most iconic and cultural, but Giant is really good.
Do you think if he didn't die,
would he still
do you think
today?
Do you think it's again? I don't want to say this because I listened back to the Philip Seymour Hoffman one, and it sounded like I was being really insensitive when I said it was a good thing Philip Seymour Hoffman died because people. It's like, but do you think? But I said it in a bit of a different way than that. But do you think it's in a way good that he?
Like, do I think he's more famous to his death?
Well, yes, because he was such a young death. Yeah, and then people went back and watched this film and said, no, he was actually a pretty good actor.
I think the problem is that James Dean was kind of the rock star of the film world, where you get many, you get the likes of Jimi Hendrix and Jim Morrison. They all died at such a young age, and that, it's the whole, the stay young forever. The whole iconic, it's almost poetic in the fact that
we never see the older self.
Live fast and die young, it's that. And obviously James Dean did that, he used to race cars and it's what got him, well, it wasn't I don't know if it was the racing of the cars, he was on his way to a derby, I think, and that's what got him killed, but...
He didn't even get to the derby
before it crashed. No, it's not just being sensitive, but, it might be a little bit, but, it's... Do I think it was a good... almost cosmic decision like that he died. I think it's certainly boosted him more in terms of a legacy.
It's kind of like Marilyn Monroe. Do you think if she didn't die as young as she was, do you think she would be as iconic?
I don't know. Obviously,
because if people saw her as old, wrinkly Marilyn Monroe,
I suppose. But then again, you look at the like of Shirley Temple,
true,
and she's still the iconic child actress. So,
but she died as.
But to me. I think now if Marilyn Monroe if Marilyn Monroe had lived, I don't think she would have been iconic as such, because I think people would immediately go, oh, back then she was okay, but now she can't act for shit, something like that. That's not me saying she can't, but I think that's how people might...
I haven't seen a film of her, so I can't even...
Marlon Brando was one of those ones right through his career.
Marlon Brando was not a nice guy, but he was an incredible actor.
I mean, Gregory Peck, I just think he was one of, the gentlemen of Hollywood.
What was Gregory Peck in? I remember the name, but...
He was in Cape Fear. He was in... His most famous was...
Is it To Kill a Mockingbird?
Yeah, that's right, I was going to say One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I do not know why.
Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird, which is an amazing film.
Which is To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, To Kill a Mockingbird, yeah.
I love it. That's a 50s film.
That's my favourite 50s film, then. I love
There's probably another one that you don't know about. Wait, no, that's my favourite. What here's the thing for you, right? For our generation...
Oh, no.
Just say... I
don't like my generation.
We were born mid-90s. We were born mid-90s and we grew up in the 2000s. That's when our memory started coming in the full...
You make us sound so old.
Make us sound so young. It's only the 2000s. But that's when we grew up.
Okay.
What do you think is the defining film of our generation? Some people have some older people like The Godfather. Some people like Empire Strikes Back.
What is our defining film? You know what? For people...
amazing film that is just...
No, I think...
I have two in mind.
I would like to hear them first before forming my opinion.
And they actually are from the same director. The Dark Knight and Inception.
See, I reckon
films.
somewhere along there people are going to say Hangover or something like that.
I don't mean defines. I mean defines
that era.
More or less just a film that's just important for our generation.
Well, it's definitely not.
Because as much as we love The Hangover, and that's probably our...
If anybody
that's
says
probably
that,
our Ghostbusters.
If anybody says that stupid fucking baby film, this is it. You know.
No, that's Michael Jackson.
Oh. Oh my God. I did not just do that.
You just did that. You just did that.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
What did I mean?
Never say never, wasn't it?
Wasn't even never say... Oh my God, I just insulted Michael Jackson.
He's got a new album coming out.
Oh my God. Oh, I can't even concentrate now. I feel so shit. It's because I was that angry. I missed that. Why did I think this is it?
I don't, because you might have looked and saw it up there.
I did. I'm
did
sorry.
You do the Jaffa Cake thing?
I did the Jaffa. I'm sorry. I don't know. This is it's quite. And I feel. No, I don't know. I really don't. I feel so stupid for that now. I'm the one who gets the music.
Don't worry.
I honestly have see. I kind of understand the films you said, but
like I don't mean like, oh yeah, that is totally 2000s. I mean like
it's like
the reason why I say The Dark Knight is because that's truly the thing that really did get superhero films really serious. And I mean, you could argue X-Men and Spider-Man.
I wouldn't say those.
But it's like you could say those got them more into the mainstream eye.
Really,
those got them more mainstream eye. But The Dark Knight was the one like, look, we are serious. We are not just some random little stupid little comic book films. We are serious. Inception brought intelligence back into our generation.
Yeah, I suppose I'd have to go with what you said. The Dark Knight.
Ever since Inception, people have been trying to make their films more complicated because today's audience is like, actually, I like a bit of challenge in this in the film. People have been critiquing films in a certain way now because of Inception. People may not realise it, but people are starting to think the story wasn't smart enough. And I feel like that's like.
Yeah, I would have to go with what you said. The Dark Knight.
It's you know.
Yeah, I would say that.
I mean, here's another question. You love The Dark Knight and Inception as well.
Yeah.
Do you prefer Dark Knight over Inception? Is that your order of those two films?
Mm.
For me, it is as well. But I mean, I love Inception as well.
Inception was fantastic. It was one of the few films that I watched that I just thought this is something totally fresh and different.
Even though people may be like, actually, there was a film back in the day that did this totally.
Yeah, but just I mean, of our generation.
This was the mainstream way of doing it. And it's like Nolan brought artsy cinema and mainstream together perfectly.
Mm. What's a film that you and maybe a couple of other people like that you know that if you showed most people it they'd just be like, what the hell? What would you like about that?
What, like, if I showed someone that they'd be like, why do you like that film? And
yeah, they're like, oh wow, I can't watch that. To me, it's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas because
that seems very particular.
Yeah, because I mean I love that film because one, it's a Hunter S. Thompson adaptation, and two, I just think it's a funny film. But I've showed some people and they're just like, I don't get what's going on, and it's like, oh.
I'll probably say a Wes Anderson film. Like not fan. I'd say maybe
Moonrise Kingdom.
Maybe because I mean it's like you're gonna get someone who's like hardcore about that. And then you're going to get some people who's going to be like, why are they, like, it's a very particular type of dialogue and a very particular type of style of film. American Psycho, I just saw it.
No.
People may just look at it and be like...
I think that's become more of a, like with
cult.
They've become cult DVDs.
Classics.
Classics, yeah.
It's like with American Psycho, people are just going to end, because I mean, some people are going to probably go in and think this is a serious film. It's a dark comedy and people are probably just going to think of it like, wait, what? Because if you're going to go into this film thinking it's a serious film, you're going to think everyone's terrible at acting. You're going to think, why is this happening? It's a dark comedy.
I think people only say that now because they're like, oh, I got Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, Donnie Darko's one that comes to mind as well.
That seems a very particular...
I've just given up on trying to get people involved. It's like, you know what, if you don't like it, you don't like it.
Yeah.
But it's like, some people say they just hate the film and it sucks. And I say, why don't you like Donnie Darko? It's like, because I just don't get it. Like, that's not the film's problem. That's you being not.
That's you.
That's you not being.
It's not made for you then.
That's you being ignorant and just saying like, because some people, because that goes, well, how many times have you watched the film? Oh, only once. Like, you don't have any right to complain about it. It's one of those films that you cannot watch.
If I don't get
with Donnie Darko, it's one of those films you cannot watch once and then just be like, I get it. Your first viewing, you cannot do like that. You need to watch it again and then be like, right, okay.
Like with if I don't particularly get a film, I'll just either take the indifference opinion. I'll be like, I watched it. you know, I didn't really quite grasp it, so I might have to watch it again. And then on the second viewing, I might go, I don't like, you know.
Yeah.
But if I seriously didn't like that, I'd just say I watched it and I just didn't like it. And if you said why, and I said because if I brought up like valid points of that one, I didn't really think the story was good. I didn't think the character. Then I'd say yes on that first view, and then you. But if you just said it because I just don't get it, it's like, well, have you tried to? Or I didn't get Ghost in the Shell for the first time. The ending, I was like, what?
Is that one of your favourites now, dude?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I liked it, but I still was like, I love it, but hell, I kind of don't get it. But then I watched it again, and I was like, you know.
Did you feel like when you watched it, you were like, I need to watch this again to grab?
Yeah,
that's a good film then.
I enjoyed it because I enjoyed. I think the first time I was so taken back and aghast with the visual and everything, and by the end I watched it, I just thought that was really good, but to get a deeper understanding of it.
Was it like that was really good? I don't know why I liked it, but it was really good. I need to watch it again to clarify with myself.
It was kind of like installing something. It was kind of like 50% of it. Well, that was great, but I need to get the rest of it to fully. And then when I did, I was just like, this is. I
need to watch more anime. Ghibli's. I need to watch more of their stuff.
Especially since one of the long-time artists is retiring. So. Yeah.
Hayao Miyazaki, the guy who made Ghibli. Yeah. The Wind Rises are coming out this year, so that's an anticipated one for me at least. Yeah, what is a film that you would say you don't like, but other people seem to like? Like, you just like, I don't like it, but for some reason everyone else seems to.
I've had this discussion.
We've had this discussion before, but I don't think we've ever recorded it. I can't remember you saying this. I'm trying to think of myself now.
That I don't like, but other people.
Yeah, that everyone else seems to just love or just really like.
I don't know if I can really say this because I
know mine now.
I've heard some people praise the likes of Space Jam, which I'm just.
It's a blast. It
doesn't do it for me. It's just like, oh, okay. Same with like Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
You're saying that? Yeah. You're saying that because Bob Hoskins dead?
I am not saying that.
You're just spinning on his grave.
That's shameful. That's shameful. No, that's not why.
No, that's you don't like Who Framed Roger Rabbit because he died.
It's not because of that. It's because Jessica Rabbit's the Monroe. No, I don't know. Like Space Jam. Everyone's like, it's a cool classic. I'm like, well, let's keep it that way because I'm not a huge fan of it. What would there's hundreds of others. I'm that type of film person. I'm the one who loves what you hate and hate what you love.
Yeah.
I'm the one guy in the group who tears cinema trips apart.
Right, so we're going to talk about we went to Newcastle Comic-Con.
We went to Newcastle Comic-Con, which is basically my girlfriend had been going to the London Comic-Cons for a while, and she told me that they were bringing it to Newcastle, which is closer
to us.
Yeah. So what happened was I invited you and James couldn't make it unfortunately, so we went there and.
I went for one day. You went for 2 days. It was a weekend thing.
It was amazing.
I was a plane getting in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The queues, but obviously Sophie being the London ones, and she said that the queues weren't even bad at the London ones. Not as bad as what they were here.
It was just not well organised with this one.
No.
The first time it did it.
I've only been to 2 conventions prior to this. I've been to Nemicon, which
this was my first con experience.
Yeah, so. Nemicon was a manga and anime convention, and the only other one was this comic convention where it was literally just a hallway with just comics and baseball cards, and this is like the big deal. Lots of famous names and famous people here.
Carl Weathers.
We both met Carl
Weathers. Which we'll get a story about that later.
Yeah. David Lloyd, who was the co-creator and illustrator of V for Vendetta, I got to meet him. And there's a funny story about this as well.
Before you went and saw him, here's what you did. You're like, oh my god.
It's David
Lloyd. There was like 4 people at like the stand, and it was like names. And it was like, oh, David Lloyd. But I can't go. And then me and Sophie, his girlfriend, went, why? And he went, I don't know who he is. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know what he looks like. So here's what he did. He went, David. Is that? Yeah. Okay, right. That's him.
So
I'm going in.
I went up to him, and I brought along my copy of V for Vendetta to get signed by him.
This is one of his favourite comics, by the way.
It's one of my favourite ones. One of my favourite graphic novels. And I went up to him and I said, will you sign my comic? Will you sign my graphic novel? And he said, yeah, sure. And he said, do you want a drawing? And I thought, he's going to give me like a drawing as well.
Like a pre-done one.
Yeah, but he sat there and drew in my V for Vendetta graphic novel. He drew V, and I was just like,
oh, is that one? Was it V?
Yeah, he drew V, and I was just, oh my god. Poof. And we stood and had a chat, which must have seemed like forever to you.
Me and Sophie were just like, yeah, Breaking Bad.
And
Jesse.
I went the next day as well, and he was doing a Q&A.
Oh, was it a Q&A? I thought it was just...
He was there doing a Q&A as well, and I got to ask him some questions, and he was really, really interesting.
Got a funny story about a Q&A thing as well, but go on.
Yeah, and so he was there. I think John Pertwee was there as well. Colin Baker was meant to be there but couldn't make it. The guy who played Darth Vader...
David Prowse, not James L. Jones.
David Prowse was there.
Who was in the suit, yeah. Which I unfortunately... I want to see him back.
They had the throne from Game of Thrones there.
Oh, the Iron Throne.
Yeah,
that was cool.
They had that there. There was a lot of famous people. A lot of people from like Babylon 5. There was a lot of baseball and football stars there as well.
Football as in soccer. For our
soccer.
International viewers.
But there was also English football players as well, which
that's what I'm saying. Soccer.
Soccer. There was people out of like Babylon 5, Stargate.
They were kind of like cult nerdy stuff.
Some of the stands were amazing. They had a Ghostbusters stand which had.
That was cool.
There was a tribute to
Harold Ramis, who recently just passed away at the time.
At that point, so that was really cool, really nice. There was loads of retro video game stands.
There was a lot of rip-offs. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, a lot of rip-off stuff. Yeah.
I'll tell you my story behind. My rip-off.
There was a lot. You always get these nerds. You always hear these tales of nerds who go there and they have like the skimpiest dress women, and you think like, only in America.
As soon as we walked in, I was like, Harley Quinn, yeah.
Harley Quinn.
Oh, another one.
Wow.
Harley Quinn. Wait, is that?
There was a lot of people. Wait,
is that Eric Draven? Yeah, it's a female Eric Draven.
I was just like, that's cool. That's cool.
Nice.
But one of the main reasons why we went there was to meet Carl Weathers, and this is an unfortunate.
Are we talking about the first time we saw him, or the time when we got a picture with him?
We'll do it chronologically.
Okay, so the first.
So Sophie was in front of us. We weren't really. She had a photograph to get signed. She
paid for an autograph. We paid for a photo.
Yeah, so we were in the queue with her to get her autograph, and we were just kind of like, we're going to meet Carl Weathers. We're going to meet the main guys from Predator. And Apollo Creed, yeah. So Sophie kind of had a conversation and shook his hand, and then I just
no, you're telling it a different way than how it happened.
I'm telling my mistake.
Okay, go on then.
And then Oscar, say Carl Weathers is there. I was stood there, and Oscar was stood to the left.
Like Sophie here, you were there.
I shook his hand, and in a weird way just whispered "thank you" to him. And then
I didn't even know he had nothing to. You had nothing to thank him for.
And then this is where the horrible mistake happened, which I think you should tell, because this was an accident on my part.
You didn't realise until we walked off, and
I didn't realise it.
Cheers, Will, and Sophie went, yeah, you just did that. I went, wait, what did I?
You explain it.
I went to Sophie shook his hand.
I shook his hand,
but I didn't. Do you want to know why I didn't? Because here's how it went. Carl Weathers went, thanks, she signed. He signed it. It's like,
really sweet guy.
Yeah, and he looked at me as if like, okay, I'll give you a handshake as well, young son, okay? And I went, and then here's what happened.
My left hand.
Was it your left hand?
I shook with
here's what happened. You be me and I be you. You were like, and then here's what Will did. He went, and then I was just like...
But then he went to shake it again and accidentally swatted his...
Yeah, he did. You went... And I went... Well... And then we couldn't stand in there trying to fight over a handshake and Carl Weathers. We were like, well... I missed my chance.
Yeah, so I spotted us.
Yeah, that's what happened. And then, like, I went, cheers, Will.
And I didn't realise what...
And he went, yeah. I went, oh, what? And then Sophie went, I think you went, oh, no problem, mate. As in, like, as if, I think you were thinking
I thought you were just thanking me for bringing him. I was like, no problem,
cheers, Will. You thought I was like, cheers, Will, for bringing me here, and I saw Carl. You're like, oh, no problem, man. I went... And Sophie went, you just swatted his hand away from Carl Weathers. And he went, did he?
But I was apologetic. You're missing that bit out. I was extremely apologetic. That was... Yeah, but then obviously you said about rip-offs as well.
Oh yeah, rip-off. There was like DVD stands and everything. This was my rip-off story. I'm not sure if you got a rip-off story.
I kind of have a rip-off story.
Was it the Final Fantasy thing?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got the, I found like the Batman and Robin movie serial.
Yes, I've got the same problem as you.
Did you?
You're going to say.
Yeah, I got it. I was like, oh, awesome. It was packaged and everything. At the
cellophane,
time, cellophane. I couldn't be like, oh, cool, look at this. £1. Oh, awesome. It's expensive anywhere else because I got the other Batman serial.
Mine was more expensive.
And then I went, oh, £1, yay. And he went, the guy, I was like, oh yeah, Robert Lowry, I think it was. Yeah, Robert Lowry. And he went, oh yeah, I got the first one. And oh, these ones are better. I went, oh great. I said, I'll be £1. I said, oh, nice one. Got home. Wait, why does it have the PG thing right there? Is that stuck on? Why does that have the regional? That's a copy. I got sold a copy.
Mine was like the...
It was £1, so it wasn't...
I paid a bit more for mine because if anybody knows...
£1 is £1, ladies and gentlemen, just in case you don't...
Yeah, the slang. I'm a fan of the punk group The Misfits. Now, the Skulls logo...
Was this second day for you, or was this...
It was his first day.
I might not have
And, what... If anybody knows, like, Misfits history, there was a TV series called The Crimson Ghost, which is where the Misfits got their logo from. Now, I'd seen this DVD of The Crimson Ghost, I think it was 6 episodes of the TV series, so I was like, that's amazing. I paid about past £5 for mine.
Right.
So I was thinking, this is fairly expensive. Do I really want it that much? And I thought, yeah, go on, it's The Crimson Ghost. I've been wanting to see this for a long time. So I bought it.
I think I know what you might be saying. Yeah.
And I don't tend to open things like that until I get home. Because we'd had a hotel there now. So when I got home...
Oh, okay, so you didn't check when you...
I didn't check things, I was just...
Oh, okay.
I was too busy, to be honest, I was more focused on V for Vendetta. So that was kind of a secondary. And I came home and I opened the disc and it was like a copy. And I just thought, But I looked at the image and it looked like it'd been printed just from the internet on paper.
Yeah.
And it was a really cheap quality, so I just essentially...
Was it like in a cheap case?
It was pixelated.
Like in a cheap case, right?
It was really pixelated.
So it wasn't like in a set?
No, it was just one. And I just thought, I've been sold kind of a rip-off copy.
There was a lot of copies in there. And I told Gary about it. I was like, well, then there'll be a lot of sellers. And I'm like, they're probably not.
They're not, probably... But
they're doing it sneakily, but it's like, what? But it's like, to be fair, there's no fault. It's like, there's no like, you scan a barcode thing. I think
you just sell them.
What I could literally have done, I could have waited till they turn around, walked off with it.
You could have done that. It literally.
No one would have noticed.
It's that we're not promoting this. We're
but it's like they don't do anything. They don't like. They just go like, that'll be so much money. Thanks. See, they don't go. They don't check. They don't take like a security thing off it because. And it's so busy. You could probably. It's like, with the postcard.
It was massive.
With the postcard thing. The thing that you had to pay for, like the little poster things, they were around the other corner. I could have just walked off, and they wouldn't even know the thing.
No,
but it was good, and
there was a video game stand as well that just had like
NES. Was it NES?
Yeah,
N64.
NES, Nintendo 64,
PS1.
I kind of regret my decision because
was this the Final Fantasy?
I bought Final Fantasy VII.
The best one, apparently.
Which is apparently, and the only one I've got is Final Fantasy 13, so I was like, I'll try and get a classic one. But they also had Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, but they also had Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask as well. And that's pretty damn expensive.
Right. It
was pretty damn expensive how much I paid for Final Fantasy VII.
£27?
It was something like that, like 25, 20. And people probably just screaming at me like, you paid that! it was one of those heat of the moment where you just think, oh, I'm seeing it. You know, I might not see
I have
it
the money. I can.
Yeah, I may as well. And I wish I'd gotten Majora's Mask instead.
But at least you got Final Fantasy VII, though.
Yeah, the only problem that I encountered was I went to play it and it didn't work. But I think that's a fault with my PlayStation.
Right.
I don't think that's a fault with the disc, because the disc is it's
perfect condition.
It's honestly pristine condition. You couldn't ask for any better. So, yeah, I played that much of a Final Fantasy game. I'm not sure if I'm proud.
You're not really a big Final Fantasy fan, though. That's the thing.
That's the weird thing, because I kind of saw it and I thought, this
You're
is
more of like a retro gamer.
Yeah,
maybe that's why you bought it for that much.
There was a lot of original Xbox version 1, not Xbox One, the original Xbox games, and I do wish now, because I recently thought to myself, Legend of Zelda's Tales is one of the best video game franchises of all time. Maybe I should get into that more. And I thought, I keep thinking back. I think we had Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I wish I'd gotten those instead, but I can't change that, and I may as well get out of.
You got it.
A lot of people who I spoke to about it said, "Oh no, you made the right decision in Final Fantasy VII."
Really?
So yeah,
for that much as well.
Well, I didn't say that. I just said, "I'll go Final Fantasy VII," and they're like, "Oh, that's X. That's one of the best." Everyone, a couple of people were like, "Oh my god, that's my childhood right there." So I'm thinking, "Wow, this is a highly influential video game. It must be really good." So there was that, and there was the guy who wrote Alice in Sunderland was there as well with his wife, who did Daughter of Her Father's Eyes as well.
Okay.
There was also a vinyl stand, which I was like, hipster, where's my glasses and my triangles, Tinky Winkies, my god, good lord. So they also had this weird section as well, that it was tucked away at the side, and it said like banned comics, and I was like, okay,
let's see what this is.
It was just porn.
Well, is it just porn comics?
I just looked at it and I was like, okay, it looks a bit risque, but it kind of like Sin City, so I was like, this could be good. Oh no.
Was it just everything?
Couldn't get away with that in Sin City. Oh man, it's something that you just kind of go, oh, I shouldn't even be seeing this, and just,
I'm old enough, but no.
But no, I mean, this is a convention, people can judge. They had a lot of actor memorabilia as well, a lot of posters and signs.
What me and you were really surprised about, they had like a stand about like blades, like weapon memorabilia.
Yeah, and swords and knives.
They had like the blade from Sweeney Todd, they had like the big knife from Inglourious Basterds.
Riddick's blades and
all that stuff. You think hundreds to thousands.
They're like £10 and...
I think the Sweeney Todd razor was like $5.99. And this was an actual razor as well. It wasn't just like, hey, the toy. It's like, that's like, murder someone. It's like
an actual razor blade.
It's like, I understand people be like, oh, you have to be 18 or over to buy. It's like, a psychotic 18 and over year olds,
There is.
Do I need to bring up Aurora?
Yeah, so there's a...
It was surprising. The one thing that I think, I want to tell a story about a Q&A thing. That which is like me. It's going to make it sound like me, you, and Sophie are right stereotypes. That I think you know what I mean. We went to this Q, and like the way that they set out the Q&A wasn't really. You could just slip by and just see it. And
obviously it's a stadium, so it was on the side, and you couldn't really see much. So if you stood like near the doorway, then you could kind of see the half of it. I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, and there was this, and then I mean we haven't really seen old Carl Weathers in anything recently.
We didn't really see him. We didn't know what he looked like.
We knew he was just a muscular African American
black guy.
I was going to try and go for the more politically correct way.
But no, that is the reason.
Okay,
black,
I like looking at him. Just like, I see it. But no, it's like, So and then we saw him, and then he was like, I'm like, oh look, it's Carl Weathers. We thought it was Carl Weathers because it was this guy.
It was a guy from Stargate.
But we were like, oh look, that's cool. And then we were just watching it. Me, you, and Sophie was like, yeah, this is really cool. And was it your Sophie that was recording it or something like that?
I was recording it,
and then a kid said like, what was your favourite episode to work on Stargate? And then we were like,
Carl wasn't in Stargate.
Was it Stargate? And then we were like,
Then we looked.
This is not Car Wars.
Then we actually looked at the programme and were like, this isn't Car Wars.
But
funny mentioning kids.
We just went straight into the fact about like, there's a black guy, and we thought that, and the only black guy we knew was going to be in this
all
car
we needed was the Parker and a Star.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like.
But you mentioned kids there. And
I know about the one kid who came up to us.
This one kid. There was this one. Now we.
This was just after we got a picture taken with Car Wars.
Yes,
and we couldn't find Sophie, so we just stood
just one in a row. Now we're okay with you expressing your love for fandoms, but this was a bit weird.
We weren't even cosplaying as anything at this point, just to let anyone know. So
a couple of people, because I don't like my hair cut a certain way, and Bede was saying like,
"Oh, you should be."
I was like, no, I'm not. But you know,
yeah.
And so look, there was this. We were just stood talking to ourselves, and this.
A guy who was essentially modelling himself after this kid who was essentially modelling himself after.
Literally came up to us and went, "Oh my God, you guys are."
They're censoring.
He said, "Oh my God, you guys are awesome! Wow, PewDiePie! Oh my God, PewDiePie!" and just walked off. That was all he did. He went up to us, said this jibber jabber, and walked. Quit your jibber jabber, fool!
Screaming
PewDiePie, and walked off.
Did you say he was doing that to most people though?
He was doing it to everybody, and I was like, "How's this kid not being knocked out yet?" No,
I'm fine if you like I've come to the conclusion, like, I don't care if you're a PewDiePie fan, it's Adventure Time to me. If you like it, then you like it. It's not for me. There you go.
It was just so obscure, and it was surreal, because we kind of stood there and were like, did that just happen to us? Did we just literally get PewDiePie... Like PewDiePie sayings flung at us by this kid who seems like
doesn't look like who doesn't look like he should be old enough to be watching stuff like that.
You know, it was just weird. That was probably the most surreal moment of the convention. As much
as we don't really care for PewDiePie. Well, I'm not sure about you. As much as I don't.
I like watching him occasionally.
As much as I don't really care for PewDiePie anymore. Or just as much as I don't really care for him.
It was the one moment where I just thought, oh man, I'm glad I'm not in like the big fandom.
The bros.
The bros.
We're not dissing. We're gonna get just dispute. Anyway, but overall, I was there for a day and I left because I thought, and I left like before it even
was due to complications, really. So.
And I just thought to myself, you know what? It's like, I think I've seen all I need to see.
Yeah.
And was there anything else apart from the David Lloyd and everything like that?
There was these things called zombie bears that were being sold, and it was they were dead cool. There was different people there. I can't remember who else was there. There was a couple of guys from Battlestar Galactica who were there as well.
What, like the
like Cylon?
The new one?
No, like the old one.
Oh,
no, sorry, the new one.
The one that came out.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, and there was more X-Men people there as well.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hugh Jackman.
I wish.
Oh God.
No, it was like take how you want.
I don't care.
I don't care.
If you say it, I will.
You give me $20, I'll do it. And it was to me, it was one of the best experiences of life. It was. I'd go to another one easily.
I would go. I think I jumped into the deep end with this one. To be fair.
Yeah, because I kind of had a little bit more before. Not much, but a little bit more beforehand. So I was kind of a bit more prepared. But at the same time, I was like, "Who? This is." But obviously, Sophie and Mum had been to these before.
Yeah.
Sophie, so she was just in the zone right away.
I just want to clarify that I'm not like, I haven't been to a big. I used to go like twice a year to see the WWE at the Metro Radio Arena, so I was used to
like
a big
crowds.
So it's not like that. I mean, it's just like, I have not been to a convention, and I think I should have started off at the smaller end and worked my way up. Like, I mean,
I didn't have a choice. I was going to go to a
like a razor, just like
I had to go. I mean, I was going to go to a. I wanted to go to Dimensions, which is a Doctor Who convention.
Right.
But that was round about the time of the 50th anniversary, so that would have just that would have been worse than.
That would have been, yeah. I think the reason why Newcastle Comic-Con was so busy because this was the first time that anything like this came to the northeast of England.
It was the first time they'd done it in Newcastle as well, and
I mean this is a Comic-Con. Like
they expected around 1,000 people, and around about 3,000 went. So
something like that.
Yeah, it was a big number. So that might have been what. And you know what the unfortunate thing is, some people didn't even get in.
No.
They didn't. We're not going to go too much into that, but I mean, I think it was so unorganised because not because it's like
they just didn't
anticipate. They didn't expect that.
They just didn't anticipate it. No.
So yeah, it was crazy, but it was a good kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It was a fun. What the fuck is going on? It was a really fun atmosphere. I would do it again.
Mm-hmm.
I hope next time that if we all go again, I hope James can go because.
Oh yeah, it's like
because he wanted to go. He seemed excited. Unfortunately,
university
cropped up, but next time.
I would honestly want to go to somewhere like this a bit, but I wouldn't mind going to a smaller type of thing.
Yeah. I mean,
because as much as
the Comic-Con one was just in Middlesbrough and it was just in the town hall, so you can't imagine that was all that big. But it was a fair-sized one.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Go from the con thing, and this might be the last thing we might be discussing because I think we're going on with timing and everything. If you can go to any con, besides from like Comic-Con, like what con would you go? Yeah,
I would
like a specific one. If it doesn't exist, which one would you like to go? Like smaller, bigger, whatever. Like
I would want to have gone to the convention that it's May now, isn't it? That in 2 months' time in London, that Stan Lee would have been there.
Yeah,
because I had the chance to go.
Did you?
My mum and dad were saying, look, if you because Stan Lee's been one of my heroes. They were saying, if you really want to go, we know how much it means to you. You can go, and I was kind of thinking, should I or shouldn't I? And I left it too late, and all the tickets had gone by the time I thought, no.
You would have, It's like
so I could have. Could have gone.
The tickets sold out before you could even say Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Before you could even say Excelsior, it was just gone. The tickets just...
I mean, and the worst thing is, it's not, cause some people might say, there's always another chance in life. Let's be realistic. Stan Lee's getting on in life, and this is his
I don't want to say it, but...
No, it's not something And this was, in 2 months' time, is his last ever UK appearance.
That's,
So, really...
Unless if you head over to America and see him somewhere else.
It's a kind of a big regret, but...
To be fair...
I feel like I would have only have met him for, I don't know...
A few seconds, maybe?
A few seconds, but to be honest, I am still... whether your stance on Stanley is, I'm still grateful for the fact that I have at least had...
Lived in a time when he...
In a time when he was alive, when he was still making...
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
His cameo in Captain America the Winter Soldier was like... everyone knows who... It's like they know what they're doing now. It's like... I'm not going to really ruin it. It's like he's a security guard. He just walks in, and the Captain America suit's stolen, like because he took it to like, and he went, "Well, I'm going to lose my job." It's like, oh yeah.
Well, I mean, like I'm.
It's always nice to see a Stan Lee cameo.
I'm profoundly grateful to have at least had the influence of Stan Lee in my life.
Definitely, yeah.
Because obviously that's all I wanted to be when I was younger, a comic book guy, an author and writer, but a bit of a regret, but not too much of a regret. Because, to be honest, I kind of had cemented it in my mind that I would never realistically meet him anyway.
Yeah.
So this was kind of like a shooting star glimpse of what could have been, but I'm not too bothered about it.
For me...
I can't be.
I would like to go to not just a Batman one. Because I did go to the Harry Potter studio tour, which I guess is a little bit like a convention in itself. It's more like just a museum tour with Harry Potter. That was cool, but I wouldn't mind going to a Batman one of those, like a studio Batman tour thing.
Yeah,
that would be cool because Batman's an important part of my life.
Yeah,
but it's
I would.
But however, more recently with my fandom towards a certain internet company, I wouldn't mind going to RTX, which is the Rooster Teeth Expo. Because I mean, those guys are for the fans, and it would be just cool to see them.
What about? I mean, this is a tough one.
Or you like a smaller Rooster Teeth.
What would you, if you either had the choice to go to RTX or a convention where you could meet the entire cast of The Walking Dead, which one would you rather choose?
I would like to see the Walking Dead cast, but in a way, it's the same thing with the Stan Lee thing. Realistically, am I gonna? It's like, who am I gonna get in a conversation with? Andrew Lincoln from The Walking Dead, or Jack from Achievement Hunter?
Yeah.
Who am I realistically gonna? Because I'll probably get just as much fanboyism out of talk. It's not sad, I don't think. They're just new forms of today's celebrities in a way. Like, they're just different. Like, they're a celebrity in a new medium for us. It'd just be like, it'd be cool just to talk to like one of the Achievement Hunters or one of the podcast members.
Like, talk to them and say like, oh, I tried to do this. And
I feel like they would just have a laugh with it. They'd be like, yeah. But it's like with Walking Dead, I'd be like, I really liked you in the film. Like, thanks, guy, and that's it. It'd be like,
if there was any person now.
However, I would love to see Benedict Cumberbatch. Oh god,
who's not living anymore. Who, like, if I
had a chance to meet a deceased icon of mine,
you were sat in a pub and whoever you wanted to who was deceased had to walk over and come and have a chat with you. Who would you want?
Do I need to say it?
Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah. Either him or Walt Disney, actually.
I'd say either.
No, Charlie Chaplin. I can't.
Why Chaplin? No.
Well, he's my inspiration for directing. And he seems like he would have had an interesting life. If I could live anyone's life and experience what they experienced, it would be Chaplin.
Yeah.
I would like to just go through. He had multiple wives. I would be fine with.
I thought you were going to say he had multiple wives. He could get me multiple wives.
I'll be fine with that. No, but I think I know. Actually, I'm not sure.
Who were you going to say for me?
I was either going to say Heath Ledger or Brandon Lee.
I was going to say Hunter S. Thompson, actually.
Oh, of course.
Because
I say that, yeah.
The guy, you read about him, he's such a crazy guy.
Like, just one day you were in a pub, like of course we do, every Saturday.
It's like the story of how Johnny Depp met him, He met him and Hunter S. Thompson came into the pub with a 3-foot cattle prod, a taser, and they went back to Hunter S. Thompson's house, built a bomb, and shot him with a shotgun. That's how Hunter S. Thompson lived. Crazy guy, lived life to the edge, and I would just love to have even been in like the crowd as he was passing me with the taser and the cattle prod, just to have been in the presence of one of my favourite authors of all time, and just favourite, to me, icons of the 21st century.
21st?
Well,
did he live that long?
He only died in 2003.
I did not realise that.
Yeah,
I thought he died a lot earlier than that.
Oh no. He would be one of mine, but I would have to just kind of.
But also, I would also.
He was an aggressive.
not deceased, but I'd like to talk to George Lucas. Not to be like, you suck, man. Why did you destroy the prequels? Like, why did you destroy? Just because it's like. He would be I think it would be interesting to have a talk with him and be like, hey George.
I think another present for me.
What was the deal? What was it like going through your head when you sold your company to Disney?
Yeah, for me, probably.
What was it like when you signed your life away to the mouse?
Alan Moore.
I knew.
Because, I just like to get his perspective on things.
Robert Kirkman. I would love to talk to Robert Kirkman.
I'd like to hear from Alan's mouth about how he feels truly about like the film deals and just basically the creation of the likes of
his beard.
The
creation of his beard. How long did it take him to do it?
The beard looked up and said, "Shavers," and I looked down and said, "No." Yeah, that video games.
David Cage, I would love to talk to.
Hideo Kojima.
Well, yeah, of course.
God damn.
That's an obvious one, though.
I wish people would stop sending him death threats and let him do all the video games now, because I'm very sick to death of Metal Gear Solid.
David Cage, I wouldn't mind talking to.
Yeah.
Because he seems like a very weird mind. Like, he doesn't seem normal. Like, no, I mean,
I want to talk to you,
You've only played Heavy Rain, though, Alvis. You haven't played this weird stuff like...
The game Newell, though. Half-Life fanboy. Valve fanboy.
What was it? I saw like a gif of like his glowing beard and he's like that. It was like his beard's like all hair. Anyway, I think we should wrap it up.
Right, thank you very much for watching these videos.
This video.
Sorry, this video, yeah.
I hope if the video podcast does well, I hope that maybe we can do a bit more.
I'd like to.
This might not be a regular thing.
It's just
audio
might
might
feel
be
like it.
whenever. Yeah. If we ever reach 100, eventually.
Wow.
Eventually, I think we might do that more regularly. I'm not sure. Anyway, but thanks guys for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching very much.
And we shall see you later. And goodbye.
Goodbye.
Excelsior.
Excelsior.
Stanley. Don't die too soon.
Like James Dean.